So I'm Jennifer Wilhelm, and I'm a farmer here at Fat Peach Farm in Madbury, New Hampshire. We found out about the SARE grant opportunity for farmers to research our no-till permanent raised bed system, where we grow fruits and vegetables and sell at local farmers markets, and we have a small CSA. And our research is looking at how our no-till permanent raised bed system manages weeds and how our yields are, and also how soil formation changes over time as we've built the farm in succession starting in 2014 and finishing last year. It's January 2020, and I'm reporting on the data we collected from our first and second year of our SARE grant study. So we looked at soil health, weed management, and yield, productivity, capacity. And we collected soil samples at the end of each growing season in 2018 and 2019 to look at soil health, and we sent those off to Cornell Soil Health Lab. And what we found is that we used the sod surrounding the growing areas as a control and collected samples from each of the 4 growing areas. So we found that the sod has lower soil respiration and active carbon compared to the production areas, which have really high score values for those things, as well as soil organic matter. So we found that the production sites that we developed through this no-till permanent raised bed system is really good for soil health and building soil organic matter and promoting a healthy soil microbial community. For weed management, we found that we have a really high diversity of weeds on the farm and in the production areas, but a very low abundance. So the permanent raised bed system is really effective at smothering the weed seed bank. So we did both a seed bank study where we collected soil, spread the soil into trays, a soilless growing medium, and grew them out at the UNH greenhouses and identified the weeds that are in the seed bank. And then we also did weed surveys every other week throughout both seasons in 2018 and 2019 to see which weeds were germinating and where in the system. And we found that there's a diversity, but a lot are coming in from above ground and not necessarily from the weed seed bank below, so either being blown in or crop volunteers from previous crop plantings. We also tracked the number of hours we spent weeding, and found that we spent 35 hours in 2018 and 37 hours in 2019 total through the whole season. So what I'd like to see in the future is if we could compare some data from other organic systems on how much time they spend weeding and how they do that, because it would put it into context to show just how efficient the system is in suppressing weeds and how much cost savings that is for farmers to not have to spend time weeding. And then for production capacity, we found that the first year our intention was to weigh our garlic, our greens, and our strawberries, but we quickly realized that the crop layouts, because of our rotations, didn't allow us to have the same crops in the same parts of the growing space in all 4 treatments. And so the second year we planned for that, and we planted quadrats of oat grass in each of the 4 areas so that we were able to compare apples to apples. And basically it looks like there's no substantial difference in production capacity. So the all 4 areas are producing the same or roughly the same yields. So we're on what we would what's considered marginal lands. It's not prime agricultural soils. We're on what we think is a glacial esker, which is essentially sand. And we had very little organic matter on the farm. And so we initially built the system so that we could quickly build soil organic matter for production. And we realized that it was really effective at smothering weeds. And that's what made us want to apply for the funding to do the research to show that organic farming, where folks are usually relying on tilling or lots of labor hours to weed, this is an alternative to that. So we don't use herbicides, we're not tilling, and we don't have a lot of weeds. So it's a cost-effective, in terms of labor, way to farm organically. And it's also good for marginal lands. So if you're living in an urban environment or a place where the soil is not high quality for farming, this is an option to build really high quality soil organic matter for growing.
Thank you.